Okay, distinguished colleagues, we can continue. We still have few things to discuss. The main topic of our session is how to go towards macro-regional smart specialization strategy. We have three presenters this afternoon together with us. Martina Hartl on behalf of Alpine Strategy. She is partly responsible for Action Group 1 to develop an effective research and innovation ecosystem, but I will use her presence here because she is also, she has been involved in the Danube strategy, and I'm sure that she will share with us her knowledge from the Danube region as well, but main contribution will be about Alpine region and possibility to go from regional and national smart specialization strategies to macro-regional within the Alpine region. Then Matilda Konstantopoulou from Greece. She is here on behalf of Adriatic-Ionian strategy. Greece is presiding Adriatic-Ionian strategy this year. They will be in charge of organizing annual event next April, May. And so basically she will talk to us about opportunities to deal with transnational smart specialization within the Danube, within the Adriatic-Ionian, mainly on blue growth, because that is one of the pillars which is Greece responsible for. And then we also have Viktor Nedovic, who is Priority Area Coordinator of the Priority 7 of the Danube strategy, and he will present the idea from the Danube region how to go from the regional smart specialization strategy to transnational. But of course, certain things have been done already in the Danube region. So basically, it will not be just the idea, what can be done, but also which things have been done already. I think it was quite obvious from yesterday. Yesterday we started with topics how macro-regional strategies can influence national and regional strategy on research and innovation. Then we moved to other topics, and today we discussed a lot about value chains, and I think it is very, very obvious that because of the globalization of economy, because of the globalization of research and innovation, one has to go for international and global value chains, and in that sense, part of the extension of regional smart specialization strategies must be to go to, at the end, probably global or European value chains, but maybe one step between that can be also macro-regional approach to smart specialization strategy. What are benefits, what we can gain from transnational smart specialization strategy? Definitely we can gain access to wider business and knowledge networks. Of course, we can be getting necessary research capacity because certain regions in different macro regions are quite small without enough capacity. Then we will be able to reach other markets as well. Of course, that will expand business opportunities. It will provide also opportunities to complement different strengths of different regions, and of course to join global value chains. Another issue is about policymakers, because certain things have been done at the regional level, but within certain regions, smaller countries, less developed countries, expertise is missing to prepare smart specialization strategy, but also to implement them and maybe monitor them. So by going from regional level to transnational level, we can gain also expertise from different countries and share them, and that will be another opportunity to gain from transnational macro-regional smart specialization strategies. Of course, when we talk about research and innovation, we are talking about regional or national system or ecosystem. Instead of that, we can go to more wider ecosystem for research and innovation. We can share it within countries, within different macro regions, but in that approach, we can basically test national and regional research and innovation ecosystem by comparing them and putting them in the same level with the ecosystem for research and innovation in other countries or other regions, to be able really to learn something from each other. Since we have representatives of 3 macro regions here, the Danube one, the Adriatic-Ionian one, and Alpine region, unfortunately we do not have representative of Baltic Sea region, but we must say that certain things on macro-regional approach to smart specialization strategy has been done for the Baltic Sea region. Part of that was done by S3 platform from JRC and DG Regio. So I will give you a few comments regarding Baltic Sea region and transnational approach to smart specialization strategy within Baltic Sea region. First of all, Baltic Sea region has 8 countries plus 3 countries which are kind of observer, Norway, Belarus, and Russia. It is 85 million inhabitants in the Baltic Sea region, and they count. No, it worked. It's supposed to work. Okay, maybe I can go closer. Well, within the Baltic Sea region, they consider smart specialization strategy as a new building block for collaboration and innovation in the Baltic Sea strategy, which can stimulate constructive use of regional diversity to build global leading innovation hubs in common and complementary S3 regions. How the Baltic Sea region cooperation can affect S3 strategy. They say that collaboration in S3 is basically a catalyzer on innovation activities between different countries, even though those countries know each other very well and collaborated together for quite some time. Working together on S3 is basically helping them to achieve even more. Then, of course, macro-regional strategy emphasize on great coordination between different stakeholders and alignment of different resources within the macro region, also helping to put together different level of governance. And we are talking, when we talk about macro-regional strategies, we are also talking about multi-level governance. And so when we employ S3 and try to talk about macro-regional approach to S3, then we have to deal with different level of governance from the level of region, country, and macro region as well. Baltic Sea region started working, as I said, together with Joint Research Center and DG Regio some time ago on common approach to smart specialization strategy. It is their priority on innovation. In 2013, they organized the first event which was dedicated to common approach to smart specialization strategy, and basically they concluded that in order to accelerate collaboration on S3, they have to organize every week 1 or 2 matchmaking events around RIS3 areas which are developed within different national or regional S3 priorities. And then they continued to do so in 2014 and 2015. And one topic which was recognized as very important for the Baltic Sea region and for different countries is health. So they are developing e-health as one of the common topic, as a common transnational priority, and even try to work together with the Danube region, trying to compare approach to e-health in the Danube region and also in the Baltic in the Baltic Sea region. In a similar way as I did for the previous session, yesterday I was in contact with my colleagues who are participating today in this session, and basically we tried to share our view about the transnational approach to smart specialization strategy, and we tried to discuss what kind of topics we would like to mention. So basically they will try together with me, but also together with you, to answer what are the benefits of transnational macro-regional cooperation in smart specialization strategies, what are the examples of transnational cooperation and value chains, what are transnational S3 instruments for growth, what are the opportunities and examples how macro-regional cooperation can help to align S3 across different regions, and also what are the opportunities and examples of knowledge transfers through collaboration in S3, and how development of S3 through transnational collaboration can help develop macro regions as a whole. So I would appreciate if Martina Hartl can start discussing a transnational approach in Alpine region.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you to all of you who are still bearing with us, who still have the energy to discuss with us and to listen to us. So thanks for being here. Thanks also to the organizers for inviting me. Well, the strategy for the Alpine region, we are, so to say, the newbies. We are still the ones that are getting formed. Well, I think we can still say we're in the forming and storming phase, trying to get to know each other, trying to get to know also the structures in the different countries, the actors in the different countries. So from this point of view, I will not be able to answer all of your questions because we're still the newbies in this phase, but I think I can still give you some hints of what we will be trying to do and the challenges we will be facing. That's also why I have actually titled my presentation Smart Specialization, Alpine Region Specifics and Macro-Regional Similarities, because as you said, we are also involved in the Danube region, and one can see quite some similarities in the challenges to S3, but there are also, of course, some specifics to the region. For all of those of you who have not been here yesterday, I just give you a very quick run through the Alpine strategy. There are three big policy areas: economic growth and innovation, mobility and connectivity, environment and energy. I will focus now only on the economic growth part because this is the one where also the Action Group 1 to develop an effective research and innovation ecosystem is part of it. And here, for those of you who also know the Danube region, can already see some kind of similarities in the setup of the action groups, because if you see research and innovation as Action Group 1, then economic potential of strategic sectors and labor markets, education and training are very much similar to PA 7, 8 and 9 of the Danube strategy that go along with people and skills, with competitiveness and with knowledge society. So you can already see that the setup in this case, there is some kind of natural tendency that competitiveness, skills, research and innovation are actually forming a kind of group. So from that point of view, I think there are some similarities. Well, the first thing I did, and also thanks to the colleagues from S3, where we have very big support for the Danube region, and we have already, tried to sneak a little bit and see what they do, and try to see, well, maybe we can do things similar to that. So the first thing you usually do is you look how are the countries doing in the innovation landscape. So the first thing you do is you take some indicators and you see how the countries are performing. So you see that actually in the Alpine region, that is a very developed region. We have some, in the middle you see the summary innovation index from this year's Innovation Union scoreboard. So you see actually Switzerland is really very, very high followed by Germany, Austria, France. But you also see that 2 countries are actually below EU average, and then I've also tried to pinpoint to a few of the indicators. So you have the research system is one part that is, for example, the doctoral degrees and the percentage of people that have tertiary education. You have firm investments, you have linkages and entrepreneurship, and you see that in all of these categories actually that the Alpine region countries are doing quite well. But there are, when you go then, and that's the next thing I've tried to do, if you try to then go to the more regional level, you already face the first difficulties. First of all, the analyses are on different levels. For example, Austria has 9 federal states, but in the Regional Innovation Scoreboard, only 3 regions are basically, it's on another NUTS level. The NUTS level is different to the federal states. So we cannot do a direct comparison between the federal states and the analysis in the Regional Innovation Scoreboard. You can then do a lot in Germany. Then already in France, there are some problems again on the NUTS level. And then for Switzerland, there are no regional data at all available, and there are also non-regional data available for Liechtenstein. So I know that Switzerland is one of the most innovative countries in the world, but I cannot pinpoint to the regions, and I cannot pinpoint why and in which specific areas. And this is, at least for the moment, still a blank spot. And I really hope that together with the S3 platform, and also with maybe the help of the OECD, we can actually fill some of these blank spots. But it was actually a similar situation then in the Danube region, where we had lacking data for Moldova or for the Ukraine partly, that you then have, on the other hand, you might also face the problem of lacking data in very highly competitive regions. So we are still working on that, and I think with the help of the platform and various other actors, we will be able to get more information on that. Of course, in some of the areas also the structural funds do play a role, but you also have to see that in the Alpine region that is much less of an issue than it is in the Danube region, because you see, if you follow here, that actually it's Slovenia that has most ERDF funds, but for the other countries it's really not a main funding source. It is it can be for a help for specific initiatives, but it's really not a main source we can use. But on the other hand, there is also the Alpine Space Program, where specific initiatives can be launched, and where also with the help of the very active action group leaders, I think a proposal has already been started, so that the different action groups get support also in its governance. So here really the action groups are very active. So what I will finish with, because it's only basically then also for our discussion, is to see how can we integrate the S3 concept in our work in the Alpine region, and that I think what are the specific strengths and unique selling points in the Alpine region that we can use for advancing this region, and how can S3 and the S3 analysis help us in identifying these specific strengths. The advanced state of many regions in the Alpine region, they may call for specific S3 supports that, as we have discussed today, go deeper into themes, go deeper into sectors, and also go deeper into value chains. It's just one example, I think, could be wood, forestry. I think that's issues that have not been tackled yet, but that could be a strength in that region. Also, you could have in the area of health, there are some strengths, but if you see the whole system, that could actually go from tourism and the region as being a healthy region to really also medical products. And so I think there is a need to still see clearer what are those strengths and where can we go into specific also regional themes, maybe beyond those now very broad fields, thematic fields like energy that you're now setting up. And I think that's my next point. I think it's very important that the relevant actors of the Alpine region, that they join these kind of platforms, but there might be a need also for maybe a specific thematic S3 platform just for the Alpine region to really focus it even more. I think data availability still remains an issue, and as I said, we will try to fill the blank spots, because I think there is also in the Alpine region a chance to profit from the experience of the new regions like now Switzerland, and also of course partly Liechtenstein, where we really have to try to see how we can get their experience and also give back our experience of that we actually have gained in the S3 process. I think strategic links to the ESI funds and the Alpine Space Program. What I've already taken away from the last 2 days, I think, is also we should think about social innovations and how social innovations in the Alpine region can maybe also be a tool to overcome this kind of competitiveness, cooperation kind of dilemma, because I think there might be even more incentive in the social innovation kind of area to cooperate, because it might give a more direct incentive, because you have a closer connection to the society that it benefits them. If you take them in those social innovation, there might be more direct perceived benefit for them. So I think that could be an issue, and that's, I think, something I have taken away already from the last 2 days. And also, what could be the role of NGOs and civil society? So how can we really move from that triple helix to even a quadruple helix is something we have to think about. I mean, in the Alpine region, there are some very established organizations already, like the Alpine Convention, that are players, and even for those very established players, it's not always very clear what role they get and what role they want to have and what role other actors want to give them, even though there are already year-long processes. So it's even more difficult for less established NGOs or societal actors what kind of role they get in the play, but it's a very important discussion I think we should lead, so that also the S3 strategies have a perceived benefit for the whole society. So I think that's it for my first input. Thank you.
Thank you. As you can see, Martina, but also her colleagues are thinking a lot about macro-regional approach to smart specialization strategy in the Alpine region. Now we will pass to Adriatic-Ionian. So Matilda, please present your view on transnational cooperation on smart specialization strategy in Adriatic-Ionian, but you will talk mainly about priority blue growth.
Thank you, Miroslava. I would like to thank the Joint Research Center, European Commission for this invitation, but also the Area Science Park and the City of Trieste for hosting this event. And I'm really glad that we are here presented with the opportunity to discuss during this week the interactions of the European macro-regional strategies of this wider area, the central southeast area, European area, with the smart specialization strategies, since innovation is closely linked and we can say dependent on to the territorial capital, which was mentioned yesterday quite thoroughly, and the local specificities, characteristics of the region in question. To begin with the EU SARE strategy, well, it counts 2 full years of life since its implementation started in 2014, and it embraces the vision of to promote sustainable economic and social prosperity, growth and jobs creation in the Adriatic and Ionian region by improving its attractiveness, its connectivity, and its competitiveness, but also has another particular, let's say, component and important role to promote the EU integration of the Western Balkans. The EU SARE strategy is based on 4 pillars, as you can see from the slide: blue growth, connectivity, which is transport and energy in this domain, environmental protection and quality, and of course the enhancement of the tourist product. Of course, there are also 2 cross-cutting aspects for the 4 pillars of the macro-regional strategy in order to identify actions that are directly or remotely connected to climate change mitigation and adaptation and disaster risk management, but also capacity building where research and innovation is included, as well as the development of small and medium enterprises. So, as you may already know, for the first pillar of the strategy, blue growth, Greece has joined with Montenegro in the coordination of this pillar. And we are in the process now, we are moving a bit slowly, to tell you the truth. We are in the process of identifying priority actions for blue growth that will lead to projects which will consequently seek financing from the ESIF and the IPA funds, but also, and this is the intriguing part of all macro-regional strategies, at least for ours as well, seek private funds and find other alternative sources of financing. So, projects already in the pipeline, project ideas, but also projects under preparation can be submitted to the relevant cooperation programs. As we heard Ludovico yesterday mention the Adrian program, which is actually the photograph of the macro-regional strategy and the main, let's say, source of financing for projects bearing the EU SARE label. So they can be submitted to cooperation programs, receive this EU SARE label, and be approved if they're evaluated in order to contribute to the goals of the EU SARE strategy. So, checking on the topics of blue growth, blue technologies, and also fisheries and aquaculture, we can see and identify actions and prioritize them where it is evident that innovation and research on these fields rank very highly for the strategy and for the region. And I'm going to give you some examples from the work that has been done at the thematic steering group, which is the group that prepares the works for the first pillar. So in the field of blue technologies, strengthening eco-innovation, for example, in creating more selective fishing gears and other innovative actions can reduce the effects of fishing and aquaculture on the environment. Small businesses with beauty products, cosmetology, or pharmaceutical enterprises can represent an innovative and dynamic sector combining marine science and, in particular, the results from basic and applied research on aquatic with business promotion and small businesses development. Research can also improve productivity, quality, environmental sustainability, and diversification in aquaculture as well. Actions in this field could include new species of commercial value, the use of alternative raw material for feed production, new farming technologies, including offshore aquaculture, that minimize the impact on the surrounding environment, use of advanced processing technologies, and innovative actions on traceability of fishery and aquaculture products. Correspondent examples bearing the innovation stamp can be found, of course, in all pillars of the EU SARE strategy. These will be all transformed, let's say, to projects and submitted to the correspondent programs. So how do these components, let's say, of the EU SARE strategy link to the national research and innovation strategy for smart specialization? For example, in the case of Greece, we have already identified 8 priority sectors for the national RIS. Energy, environment, transport and logistics, you can see them, health and pharmaceuticals, culture and creative industries with tourism, materials, agro-food, where we will concentrate on aquaculture, and information and communication technologies. It goes without saying, as you can see from the slide, that each and every of these priorities match to the pillars of the strategy and can be incorporated there. We have also heard so far that Baltic Sea and along with the Danube, if I'm correct, have an approach on health, are preparing something common on health. And the Alpine macro-region has also agri-food into its agenda. So you see that there are also similarities and interfaces, not only between regional and national RISs and the macro-region, but also among macro-regions themselves, their priorities themselves. So, in every RIS, I'll talk about the Greek reality a bit. At the beginning, the priorities are defined. That is, what does the strategy need to obtain and accomplish? The main components of its priority are the levers to change the status quo in specific socioeconomic dimensions, and economic and knowledge domains, the markets. The means to obtain these desired changes form the policy mix. The basic elements of the policy mix are the following, as you can see. The groups, the categories of actors that can potentially activate to change, and incentive or regulatory instruments of intervention. It has been mentioned yesterday and this morning a lot. So, having said that the opportunities for every risk component of the risk strategy can be recognized in a wide field of, let's say, activities, from the exchange of knowledge and good practices to the completion of the value chains in the field of the transnational cooperation. We can exploit the existing knowledge and fill in research and innovation gaps between regions, align funding strategies and integration of research and innovation funds and infrastructures at regional, that means structural and investment funds, national and EU level, by avoiding duplication, improving the effectiveness in the use of resources, and maximizing the leverage effects. That is the policy mix we've been talking about. So to conclude, there is a vast field of transnational, and in our case, macro-regional cooperation, ranging from exchange of knowledge, experience, and good practices to improve mechanisms of governance. Apart from transnational learning in the field of research and innovation, transnational collaboration on existing but also new policy tools, this has been developed thoroughly yesterday as well, that will lead to entrepreneurial discovery and further economic growth, but not growth without the creation of jobs, this has to be stressed, can be explored, that will reinforce the existing knowledge base and will lead to the completion and integration of the value chains at the macro-regional level. New policy tools will also help to align smart specialization strategies in order to promote the preparation, development, and further implementation of joint, and this is a key word, macro-regional innovation strategies. How do all these come together and add value to the implementation of the macro-regional strategy? Firstly, they bring together the stakeholders, and what we ask from them. We ask them to think, to cooperate, to create, to innovate. Policymakers and the public sector, along with citizens and the science community, researchers and enterprises. They exchange knowledge, they create synergies, they raise awareness, They develop a common management approach, and they help move research and innovation from theory to practice in the macro-regional area. So, to conclude, macro-regional cooperation between EU, SER, and RISC can open new markets, boost business activities in a wider area of cooperation, not only territorial, not only geographical, but also scientific, can contribute to the creation and development of new value chains, can ensure complementarities of activities and avoid the duplication of actions, can work on economies of scale, and finally can contribute to the economic growth along with the creation of jobs, the social prosperity, we don't forget social innovation, and the environmental protection of the whole region. Thank you very much.
To presentation, I already have some questions in mind, but let's leave it for later. So the next speaker is Viktor Nedovic, who is Priority Area Coordinator of the Priority Area 7 of the Danube Strategy. I would say since Danube Strategy started first, before those other two mentioned today, there is an experience about transnational cooperation on smart specialization strategy, but there is something else within the Danube strategy, and maybe I would like you to touch upon on that as well. From the very beginning, the approach of the Priority Area 7 was that basically it's not just Priority Area 7, and Martina also mentioned that Priority Area 7 is part of the Pillar C, and Pillar C is building prosperity in the Danube region, meaning putting together all the activities of 7 and 8 and 9 in order to improve competitiveness. And one of the main activities of the Priority Area 8 was to build clusters, to put a lot of discussions, but also to connect different clusters and different stakeholders from the region and to put them in transnational clusters. So how that can influence transnational or macro-regional smart specialization strategy?
Good afternoon to everyone. Thank you for this nice introduction, Miroslav. First of all, I would like to thanks to the European Commission, to the JRC for the organization of this excellent event, all of these 5 days in Trieste. Particularly to Giancarlo Caratti, to Miroslav Veskovic, to Željka Babić, and some other colleagues who did put a lot of energy to manage such a successful, if I may say, already after 2 days event. Then to Area Science Park here in Trieste in Italy, the institution with which we started as a government of Republic of Serbia to cooperate on the structural way and on the deep way in 2014, and we are developing at the moment some particular actions and projects for the future intensive cooperation in the area of innovation, open innovation, and probably S3 in the future. Yes, I would thank you for this introduction once again. I will start with some short introduction of priority of actually European strategy for the Danube region, particularly activities related to Priority Area 7 related to smart specialization strategy. But before that, I would like also to apologize to all of you for my absence yesterday in the session related of influence of micro-regional strategies to innovation. I was planned as one of the speakers, but unfortunately I wasn't here for some other urgent duties in my country and came just this morning. Okay, first of all, just few important information about this EU strategy that is already mentioned, one of the oldest, the second one, after the Baltic one, that was endorsed by the European Council in 2011. 14 countries are included in the region, and yes, 5 out of these 14 are not still EU member states. That actually involves some specificities in the development of the certain number of actions, and this one also related to the smart specialization. As it is already mentioned by Martina and by Miroslav, this Danube strategy focuses on the region challenges by means of 4 pillars. And the 7th one, knowledge society, is together with the competitiveness and people and skills together in the building prosperity block or pillar. And priority area 7 is and called knowledge society is one of those that has this horizontal feature, horizontal characteristics. That means it is incorporated on a way in all other priority areas of the Danube region. But also we are, as Miroslav already mentioned, trying to establish the better and the new links with the priorities that consist of this building prosperity block of the Danube strategy. It is also by the inhabitants, by the population, it's a really big one with 115 million of people that are living in the Danube region. To focus now to the targets of priority area 7 and those ones that are particularly related to research and innovation, smart specialization strategy. Actually, we recently adopted the new ones. This year it happened, and among those that are talking about the increase of the effectiveness of investment in R&I through establishment of the funding coordination network that is actually already established one, and Martina is somebody who is leading this work to initiate a minimum of 2 dedicated calls for the region, and we are doing this this calendar year. Then to increase the number of the patents in the region, then to enhance regional research and innovation cooperation and the academic mobility in the region, to increase annual output of co-publications in the regions. All of this is so important for the further cooperation and development of the research and innovation system in the region. The 5th one is to develop research and innovation strategy, smart specialization strategy in all Danube countries or regions by 2020. That means that we are trying to, with this actually new target, to increase awareness concerning this issue and to try to communicate with all different countries that are still not developed the strategy itself, and Serbia is one of these. I will later on say a few words more about our case. How we are splitting the work, how we are working to fulfill these targets. We split the work in 4 working groups, and one of these, working group 4, is related to the communication with the JRC and with special emphasis on research and innovation smart specialization strategy. I will say here, and I would like to add that in many different aspects we are cooperating a lot, achieving these goals by Danube IncoNet project, and this cooperation up to now is very fruitful one. This is also related to the involvement of JRC, IPTS, Seville Institute of JRC in different actions of the priority area 7 through Danube IncoNet project. As I already mentioned, I will say a few words, as it is probably not shouldn't be the part of the presentation, but it is we already had today the session related to some of the experiences in the region, and also Serbia was mentioned several times. Western Balkan countries were mentioned several times. I would like just to say that we started, as it is presented in the presentation of the Vojvodina province this morning, as Vojvodina was the first region that tried and started to develop smart specialization strategy. Serbia is also the first still not member state that started with this process last year. What we did till now in communication with Aleš Gnamus, in communication with some other people from JRC, from the Commission, we did the registration last year, and this registration helped us a lot to be a part of this huge communication relating to smart specialization strategy. Then we started to develop the structure in the country for the smart specialization design. That means that we would like, and it is a current activity, to have one governmental body that is possible, working group that is responsible for the further development of smart specialization strategy. And in that sense, we see, and it is already a running process, long-term partnership with many stakeholders, but particularly with JRC. What does it mean? We will have the first official meeting with JRC concerning designing of the process of smart specialization already in October, on 11th of October. Then together with Moldova, that is mentioned by Aleš today, and Ukraine, we will have further activities the month later in Seville, with some emerging process that could actually produce the full picture of design with terms of reference and so on. And after that, we will continue with our own activities based on that we will discuss with JRC, particularly with the help of some of the experts. We would like also to cooperate with the people who did the work in Vojvodina, and in that sense, we already contacted institutions on the level of the province of Vojvodina to be included in this process on the level of Republic of Serbia. This is the situation up to now. We are very much keen to do it on the right way, and based on the presentation today that were done as some experiences of as the successful stories, like Slovenia one is, we would like to cooperate via JRC with all of these people to try to avoid mistakes in the process, and probably and possibly to shorten the process. Serbia is not the only country that still don't have the smart specialization. We have also 4 more in the Danube region: Bosnia and Herzegovina, Montenegro, Moldova, and Ukraine. As it is already mentioned by Aleš, Moldova is on the board, Ukraine probably soon, and we are also discussing with our colleagues from Bosnia and Herzegovina and Montenegro to take a part, but not only with them, also with Macedonia to take a part in the development of smart specialization in those countries for the benefit we are discussing today of transnational cooperation as well. Just to speed up a bit, as it is already mentioned for the Baltic regions, smart specialization is the new building block also in the Danube cooperation. As a horizontal theme, it allows for synergies and better streamlining of funding, for example. What we did till now, we started on the level of those countries that still don't have developed smart specialization by the training workshop in 2013 in Belgrade, that we continued in this cooperation with IPTS of JRC, identified on the regional level the priorities. It is done by JRC itself, but it is also done in one feasibility study that is performed by the DRIF, so-called DRIF working group, by the expertise of Slovak Ernst & Young company that produced this document, feasibility study, and these priorities were identified for the region itself: ICT, health, energy, sustainable innovation, including water issues, and I would add also the food and agriculture, that is probably the 4th or 5th one with that is priority in 5 countries in the region. Based on this analysis, JRC organized this successful workshop last year in Ulm during before the annual forum, Danube annual forum. Other events that are organized and that help us a lot in the development of these ideas were some workshops organized in the scope of Danube Inconet project, like these 2 mentioned here, plus one that was organized in Novi Sad the year or 2 years before, gathering opportunities around RIS3 priorities, and S3 design learning workshop that was organized recently this year in February in Chisinau in Moldova. Some of lessons learned from this workshop that were organized by the help of our colleagues from JRC are listed here. One of these that is important to have a shared vision for the future. Dialogue about the future can support democratic decisions, positive developments. Then that RIS3 is especially relevant for small countries. And again, we are coming to the transnational cooperation by this statement. And it is it is in a strong relation with the economic development policy. Some recommendation not to choose too many and too broad priorities that is mentioned in many presentations today. Some crucial factors: stability of governance, and we are caring about this now at the national level. Stability of the governance and capacity building, dedicating sufficient human resources for the process. That is a living document that is already mentioned today. Has to be grounded with funding, yes, sure. Importance of building partnership in early stage and create the trust among the stakeholders on the national level, but also to build this partnership in these huge and bigger areas through transnational cooperation. And still, what are the potentials for the transnational cooperation based on this all previous experience? Is to provide joint teams of experts to exchange experience and views, to jointly develop and use R&I infrastructures, then to have priorities focused on cooperation, technology transfer, and so on. And then that is the topic that will be discussed on the level of priority area 7, joint programming. Then innovation support services as the joint ones, R&D as a driver for economic cooperation, cluster policies, easier access to finance, and formal peer review. In our case, just as information, we are running this week so-called policy mix peer review in Serbia, and probably will have the results by the end of the year of this exercise. This is just as a kind of introduction in the topic, and I will be free later on to also take a part in discussion to answer the question. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We heard several examples from the Danube region, from the Adriatic Ionian region, from the Alpine region. From those presentations, I think one can see that we still can have in the future maybe another approach to macro-regional and transnational approach to smart specialization strategy, and I will put some questions, not specifically to any of the presenters or maybe people in the audience, but just to stimulate discussion. First of all, smart specialization strategy is bottom-up approach, and we start from entrepreneurial discovery process and then build on that. Maybe questions to the presenters as representative of macro regions. Do you feel bottom-up pressure to introduce and to help them to build value chains within the macro regions and to work towards macro regional S3 and maybe on top of that to European value chains and so on? Then I would like also to mention one phrase which was used today about Klagenfurt University. It was mentioned that they work in 3 orbits. The first orbit is a local one, regional one. Then the second orbit is macro regional one, and the third orbit is European one. I really believe that for universities those 3 orbits are very, very important, and in that sense, of course, the role of universities as important stakeholders in that quadruple helix, I would say, and I would emphasize the quadruple helix. I think all three orbits are very important. Do you see within your regions that your universities as important stakeholders, but maybe some other institution really work in a similar way, having regional approach, macro-regional approach, and then international, European, or maybe worldwide approach? I can mention certain things related to the Danube region. For example, we have Danube Rectors Conference. Danube Rectors Conference, from the very start, before even the Danube strategy was adopted, proposed to be one of the driving forces, one of the key implementers of the Danube strategy. At the moment, Danube Rectors Conference is involved in the Danube strategy, but I think the Danube Rectors Conference as a network of 75 universities within the Danube region can take maybe more active role in considering transnational and even macro-regional approach to smart specialization strategy. Maybe we already have one example. There is a European network of life science universities. Part of that is a network of life science universities for the Central and Southeast European universities. And it's obvious that life sciences or bio and bioeconomy was recognized as one of the important topics for the Danube region. So we have one stakeholder which is kind of very, very active, and I think we should employ that and exploit even their activities in that field, but maybe stimulate some other groups work on that. And I must comment also about another issue which was mentioned regarding targets for the Danube region. In the analysis of smart specialization strategy platform, analysis of overlapping priorities for the Danube region, ICT was recognized among 8 countries as very, very important priority. And that is one of the reasons why we emphasized that during the JRC annual event last year in Ulm. But as I can see, ICT is not part of the targets which were set as new targets for the priority area 7, but also as for the whole Danube region. Does it mean that we have achieved all the things which we would like to achieve in